Hey everyone, Numedia here. I have recently been invited to the Classic TBC Beta and I've had a pure blast for the last few days. I've leveled to 64 and I am currently in the process of leveling to 68 as I'm writing this video, as Blizzard has increased the level cap yesterday night. I've probably reported more than a dozen bugs at this point. I actually lost count, but most of those bugs were very minor, nothing game breaking, so the game feels really good overall. Anyways, I wanted to make a video to address the elephant in the room in the last couple weeks, the drums problem. I actually wrote a tweet about this and sent it to the Warcraft Devs. I hope they will read it, but I figured I'd present it to you guys in video form and I would love to hear your opinion on it. It's a simple solution that I think would solve every problem that the drums presents, and I think it would make leatherworking even better actually. But before we go, I wanted to talk about this interesting phenomenon that has been happening for almost every WoW expansion in the last 5 or 6 years. Maybe it has been happening for longer, it's just that I haven't been following the WoW scene by then. But it's the fact that before any expansion is released, the community always seems to focus all their attention on one single big problem that they think will completely break the game. For Classic TBC, it's the Drums of Battle problem, obviously. For Shadowlands, it was the Covenant choice. For BFA, it was the Azerite gear, and for Legion, it was the Legendaries, I believe. And I'm not saying that those problems weren't the biggest problems for each one of those expansions. They certainly were, and do deserve a lot of attention from both the community and the devs. But I feel like oftentimes, people focus on one problem way too much when there's tons of other issues in every expansion that require an equal amount of attention from both the devs and the community. It's like there's always that one problem that is screaming super loud and everyone is just focusing on it, while the other small problems roam freely, causing death of 1,000 cuts to the expansion. The point is, I do think the Drums of Battle deserves all the attention it's getting, and it would make the game very annoying and bad to play for all the reasons we know, but I also think that we should address all the other problems that could also be damaging the game to a lesser extent, and if left unaddressed, combined, would cause more harm to the game than the drums themselves. Anyways, so for those who don't know what drums are and why it's a problem, here's a super quick recap. At the start of Burning Crusade back in 2007, leatherworking was pretty much a dead profession. It offered no real advantage for anyone compared to the other professions in the game. So to fix that, Blizzard made it so that leatherworking drums, specifically in our case Drums of Battle, which offer a throughput advantage, Blizzard made it so that those would now affect everyone in your party in a much larger area. And they also made them instant cast. As soon as this change got put in the game, overnight, leatherworking went from being the worst profession in the game to being the best profession in the game. As what raiders would do is have everyone go leatherworking and rotate the drums effects for the raid, essentially having a 100% uptime for a super strong effect that only leatherworkers can provide. Fast forward 15 years later, and Classic TBC is about to release, with the game being based on the last version of the game, meaning that if left untouched, those drums would be as strong as they were at the end of original TBC, but from the start of the game. And that's where the community said, no, we don't want to be forced to go leatherworking to perform well in raids. And Blizzard said, yeah, we agree. So, where we are now is that Blizzard offered one simple solution. Let's have it be the exact same way it was back in the day early in the expansion. The drums will only affect a small area and they will have a cast time on them. And then, similar to how we fixed them later on originally, we will introduce new drums once Zulaman will release. And those drums will be the same as the original drums were later in the game, meaning that they will affect a much larger area for your party only and will not have a cast time on them. Now, here's why this is not a good solution according to me and many players. We are 15 years later in time, and players have the tools and knowledge to do crazy things in this game. In Classic WoW, right now, for Loatheb, we have a weak aura which coordinates group one after the other to take spores. No one has to communicate or say anything. Every 30 seconds, people just look at their screen, and once a big icon pops up, they go to a specific place, get the buff, and go back to the boss. The drums of battle would work the exact same way with an exactly similar weak aura if they were kept the way Blizzard talked about recently. It's not going to solve anything. People will still be forced to go leatherworking, and there will still be drums rotations going on for each of the 5 groups of the raid. It's just that it's going to be more frustrating because now people will need to follow both the boss mechanics and the drums rotation stacking weak aura. Now obviously this will not be possible on every boss, but it doesn't matter. Even if it's possible for a minority of bosses, people will still have a reason to do it, and they will. So here's one simple solution that would solve all of this, and I would argue would make leatherworking even more valuable than it is right now without forcing everyone to be a leatherworker. Simply have the drums affect the whole raid instead of just your party, and obviously keep them how they were at the end of the game, affecting a large area instead of a small one. If this solution is put in the game, it will do 2 things. 1, you now only need 4 to 5 players in your raid with leatherworking to have a 100% drum rotation, not forcing everyone to go leatherworking. And 2, leatherworking is now a more valuable profession. Whoever has it has a strong tool that will help everyone in their raid. But not having it is also fine because again, you only need 4 to 5 players to have a full rotation. So past having 4 to 5 in your raid, it becomes useless. Obviously, in their recent blue post about the drums issue, Blizzard also said that they don't want the drums effect to be present in the game at the start, to keep the encounters challenging without having to tweak their health or damage values, to keep them authentic. But obviously I think I showed earlier how the encounters would still be trivialized by drums with the change that they proposed, thanks to the weak auras. But again, with my solution, raids will still feel more trivial than they should, but I think that's fine. That's what the beta is for. Let's test it, and honestly, if drums need to be nerfed by 10%, let's do it. And if bosses need to be buffed, let's do it too. Keeping authenticity to the detriment of the game is not a healthy thing to do for the game, I think. So that was all of this post summarized in this video. If you guys think this is a good solution, please help this tweet by liking it on Twitter. A link to it will be in the description. Let's get the devs to give it some attention. Obviously, I'm not a game designer. I can't think of all the hidden scenarios and problems that this solution could bring. That's where you guys come in. Let me know in the comments of this video or on the tweet directly if you think this solution is good or if you think there's a problem with it. That's all I had for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and remember to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.